There is a specific, hollow kind of silence that exists in the modern dating world. It is not the peaceful silence of a quiet room, but the anxious, heavy silence of a phone that refuses to light up. It is the silence of a question left unanswered, a plan left unmade, and a feeling unreciprocated. We have all been there, staring at a screen, scrolling through a chat history to analyze the timestamps, looking for a hidden code that might explain why the person we desire seems to be drifting away like smoke in the wind. The frustration is visceral. It eats at your confidence and turns otherwise rational men into detectives of the mundane, searching for clues in emojis and delays. But the truth is rarely hidden. In fact, the truth is usually screaming at you, but you cannot hear it because the noise of your own hope is too loud. To navigate this landscape without losing your dignity requires more than just dating advice. It requires a philosophy of self-mastery. It requires the mindset of a Stoic. When we look at the undeniable signs that a woman is not interested, we must not look with bitterness or anger, but with the cool, rational gaze of Marcus Aurelius or Seneca. We must learn to separate our internal worth from external validation. The reality is that most women, driven by social conditioning and a desire to avoid conflict, will rarely look you in the eye and say, "I do not like you." Instead, they will communicate through a series of soft exits, subtle withdrawals, and passive signals. Learning to read these signals is not just about saving time, it is about reclaiming your soul from the grip of uncertainty. Consider the most common currency of modern interaction: time. There is a pervasive lie we tell ourselves when we are infatuated, a comforting fiction that whispers, "She is just busy." We rationalize the hours of silence, the unreturned calls, and the vague excuses. We tell ourselves she has a demanding job, family obligations, or a chaotic schedule. But let us apply the razor of logic to this excuse. We live in an era where our phones are extensions of our biological nervous systems. People check their devices hundreds of times a day. Even the busiest CEOs, world leaders, and high performers find moments to communicate with the people they value. The harsh but liberating truth is that nobody is too busy for what they desire. If a woman is interested in you, you become a priority. She will carve out time in the margins of her day to let you know she is thinking of you. When you find yourself constantly initiating, when you are the architect of every plan and the engine behind every conversation, you are not courting her, you are chasing her. And in the laws of attraction, that which is chased must run. If she is always bad at texting, or if her replies are consistently dry, monosyllabic, and arrive days later without a counter question, she is sending you a clear message encoded in digital apathy. The Stoic response to this is not to demand more of her time, for time cannot be bargained for. The Stoic response is to withdraw your own energy. Epictetus taught that we must distinguish between what is up to us and what is not. You cannot force her enthusiasm, but you can control where you invest yours. If the energy isn't matched, the investment is bad. Walk away, not to punish her, but to preserve yourself. This leads us inevitably to the physical and emotional realm, where the signs of disinterest often manifest as a great wall of surface-level interaction. A woman who is genuinely interested in you wants to map the territory of your mind. She is curious. She asks questions that dig deeper than the weather or your weekend plans. She wants to know your history, your scars, your ambitions, and your fears. She leans in, both literally and metaphorically. However, if you find that your conversations feel like an interview where you are the only one asking questions, or if she skillfully deflects any attempt at emotional intimacy, she is keeping you at arm's length. This is often accompanied by physical distance, a lack of touch, an avoidance of eye contact, or a closed-off posture. It is painful to realize that the person you want to know deeply is content to knowing you barely at all. The ego wants to fight this. The ego wants to perform, to dance faster, to prove your worth so that she might finally open the gates. But the Stoic knows that your worth is intrinsic, not extrinsic. It does not depend on her approval or her curiosity. If she keeps the conversation shallow, it is because she does not wish to swim in the deep end with you. Recognizing this is not a failure, it is a liberation. It frees you from the exhausting performance of trying to impress an empty audience. As Seneca noted, if a man does not know to which port he is sailing, no wind is favorable. If you are sailing towards a connection and she is anchored in indifference, you are drifting aimlessly. Cut the anchor. Perhaps the most insidious sign of all, and the one that keeps men trapped in a cycle of misery the longest, is the phenomenon of mixed signals. One day she is warm, flirty, and seemingly available. She laughs at your jokes and tells you she misses you. The next day, she is a ghost. She is cold, distant, and unresponsive. This hot and cold dynamic is often misinterpreted as playing hard to get, or a complexity that needs to be unraveled. Men will analyze these fluctuations for hours trying to find the pattern, but the Stoic perspective cuts through this confusion with a single sharp blade of truth. Confusion is communication. Consistency is the hallmark of interest. Inconsistency is the hallmark of ambivalence.
When a person truly wants you in their life, they do not leave you wondering where you stand. They do not treat your presence as a variable that changes based on their mood or boredom level. If she only reaches out when she is lonely, or when her other plans have fallen through, you are not a priority. You are a placeholder. You are the emotional safety net she uses to validate herself when her preferred options are unavailable. This is a harsh realization, but a necessary one. To accept this requires a profound level of self-respect. It means looking at the breadcrumbs of attention she throws your way and deciding that you are not starving enough to eat off the floor. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If your thoughts are dominated by anxiety over her inconsistency, you are handing the keys to your happiness to someone who does not care to drive. Furthermore, we must look at how she prioritizes you in the hierarchy of her life. We all have obligations, but notice who comes first. If she cancels plans with you to see her friends, keeps you waiting while she scrolls social media, or prioritizes her coworkers and hobbies over a date you planned weeks in advance, she is showing you your rank. You are at the bottom of the totem pole. There's no malice in this necessarily. It is simply a statement of value. She does not value your time as highly as she values her own or that of others. The mistake many men make here is to try and negotiate for a higher rank. They complain, they beg, or they try to buy her attention with gifts and grand gestures. This behavior is the antithesis of Stoicism. A Stoic does not beg for a seat at the table. If the table is full, or if the service is poor, the Stoic leaves the restaurant. You must understand that your time is a non-renewable resource. Every hour you spend waiting for a text, every evening you spend decoding her mixed signals, and every moment you spend feeling unworthy is a moment stolen from your own potential. It is time you could have spent building your empire, honing your body, sharpening your mind, or finding a woman who looks at you with genuine desire. To stay where you are not valued is to insult your own existence. Ultimately, the most direct sign of disinterest is the friend zone or the "not ready for a relationship" speech. Often, men view these statements as challenges. They hear, "I'm not ready for a relationship," and mentally add the words, "right now, but maybe later if I try hard enough." They hear, "I just want to be friends," and think, "I can use friendship as a Trojan horse to win her heart." This is delusional and disrespectful to both parties. When a woman tells you she is not interested, whether through her words or her actions, believe her the first time. Do not try to negotiate attraction. Attraction is not a logical argument. It is a biological and emotional reaction. It is either there or it is not. The Stoic response to rejection is the ultimate test of emotional maturity. It is natural to feel the sting of rejection. We are human, and we are wired for connection. But the Stoic does not let that sting fester into a wound. He views rejection not as a judgment on his soul, but as a redirection of his path. It is simply data. It is the universe closing a door so that you stop banging your head against it. As Epictetus advised, we must not explain our philosophy, but embody it. This means taking the rejection with a nod of understanding and walking away with your head high. No insults, no passive-aggressive texts, no pleading, just the calm acceptance of reality. This acceptance is the amor fati, the love of fate. You must learn to love the no as much as the yes, because the no saves you from a life of unrequited effort. It saves you from being with someone who merely tolerates you rather than celebrates you. By recognizing these signs, the silence, the distance, the inconsistency, the deprioritization, you are arming yourself with the truth. And while the truth may hurt in the moment, it is the only thing that can heal you in the long run. So look at your situation with clear eyes. Stop painting over the red flags with the colors of your potential. If she is not investing in you, withdraw your investment. If she is not asking about you, stop explaining yourself. If she is confusing you, take that confusion as your answer. You are the protagonist of your own life, not a supporting character in hers waiting for a scene that may never be written. Choose yourself. Choose your peace. Choose to walk forward into a future where you are desired, respected, and understood. That is the way of the Stoic. That is the path of strength. And it begins the moment you decide that you are worth more than a maybe.